Ladies and gentlemen, CocoSports.com proudly presents the Boom Boom Room, and of course, I am the sexiest man on all of Internet Wrestling Radio. That's right, the debonair of the Deep South himself, the Southern Playboy, talking about Boom Boom here, shaking the room live from the RBA, talking about Richmond, Virginia. Well, ladies and gentlemen, another Smackdown is in the books, and of course, I'm going to ask the question that I ask for each and every review that we do here at CocoSports.com is, what do you give tonight's show? Do you give it a win, a loss, or a tie? So down here in the comment section, please be sure to tell me what you thought about tonight's show. Was it a win, a loss, or was it a tie? And please tell me why. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to give tonight's show a loss. I thought it was an absolute booking mess. There was just too many fuck finishes. It was a train wreck. So if you're on the fence about watching this, I can tell you right now, go ahead and skip it. If you have seen it, I do apologize for having 2 hours of your time wasted. But frankly, come on, you and I both know we'd probably waste that time anyway if we had it back. So let's get down and dirty with it here. This was coming to us live from, well, recorded, I should say, from Toledo, Ohio. Of course, the first thing we see is Seth Rollins coming out with Kane and Joey Mercury. Of course, conspicuous by his absence is Jamie Noble, who suffered 3 broken ribs at the hands of Brock Lesnar on Monday. They talked about executing the plan to beat up on Brock Lesnar and headed into Battleground. So with the fighting spirit of a champion, he decided he was going to challenge Dean Ambrose to a match. And then, let's see, Kane wound up getting challenged by Ryback. This whole thing drug out too long. I timed it. It was roughly about 17 minutes of just nothing but talking. Of course, you have the Authority bragging about what they did to Lesnar, which is fine. And they talk about dedicating this episode of Smackdown to Jamie Noble. Good heel tactic. They bragged about chokeslaming Dean Ambrose on Monday Night. Great. And then said, you know, the Big Show was there because the attack. Big Show was not at SmackDown because Ryback attacked him. And of course, this brought out Ryback, who was calling out Seth Rollins. This led to, like I said, the match where Ryback called Rollins gutless. And then Kane made a match with Ryback versus Kane. And, of course, as I just mentioned, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. And he's going to prove that the Authority always wins. Well, anyway, we get to the first match here, and it's Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus. Now, this match, I don't think it really had a chance to get off the ground. It was about a 10-minute match. It was pretty much everything you would expect from a Ziggler match. You know, he gets beat down early. He's taking a rear chin lock, got hit with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. But Ziggler kind of started making a comeback. He got caught with a super kick, Ziggler did. And Jimmy Uso, yeah, believe it or not, they've got him doing commentary. Byron Saxton is on Tough Enough right now, doing some work with Tough Enough. So to fill that vacancy, they put in Jimmy Uso. Of course, his brother's out of action, so for some reason they've kind of just put him on the shelf too. So to kind of fill the time, they've got now you've got Tom Phillips, Jimmy Uso, and Jerry Lawler going to be doing the commentary team at least for the summer. So this isn't a one-off deal, Jimmy Uso, but he declared it a super kick party, which, come on, we all know what that's a reference to because, hey, they're part of the coolest thing, one of the coolest things going on in professional wrestling right now. Then I start to have a problem. Because during the midst of all this, Rusev comes out, going, Lana, did the whole Lana, come back to me. And of course, Lana turns her. This leads like a little bit of a distraction, which I thought, okay, they're going to have Sheamus. Sheamus is going to, tag Ziggler from behind with a bro kick and get a win. But no, they didn't do that. So I was a little shocked with that. But they just kind of kept going. Rusev went to the back, and I think they really could have done that either backstage before the match or backstage after the match. I don't think it was necessary in the middle of the match. But it had too much of an abrupt ending Um, Ziggler was getting up on the top rope. Sheamus crotched him on the top, hit him with the bro kick, yanked him into the onto the mat, and got a pin for the win. So this was, it was just too much of an abrupt ending, and I just didn't think you deserved to see that. I just, for one, I didn't like the interference by Rusev. I know it's part of the continuing storyline, but he could have done everything that he did in that match. Everything he did, because it didn't really affect the match. You could have done that either before in a backstage segment, or you could have done that immediately after the backstage segment. And I think everything just would have went just, as smooth as possible. But this wasn't, and I just didn't like the shenanigans. Anyway, after that segment, Rusev is going backstage. Apparently, he's just upset about this. Summer Rae touched him on the shoulder and said, Lana's not worth it, and walked away. Is this going to lead to anything? God, I hope not. But hey, you never know, because Summer Rae is one of those girls that WWE likes to use. They don't take her seriously enough to be a wrestler, but they do love to put her in relationship roles. I mean, they did it with Fandango. I mean, that whole debacle. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if, they do this, bouncing her from, off to another guy. Next here, Alicia Fox versus Naomi. This is like the definition of clusterfuck. I hate this, and for several reasons, and I don't necessarily hate any of the women involved in this. I just think the booking is just, I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. There is no consistency. There is absolutely no consistency to WWE's booking of the Divas division, because they never have more than one storyline, at least with the women, going at one time. And you're like, oh, but Lana, no, Lana's not in the ring. She's not in the ring. She's, hanging out with Dolph Ziggler. That's technically part of Ziggler's storyline. I'm talking about, what two women's feuds do you have going right now? Right now, it's pretty much Paige versus the Bellas, and people are, I guess, maybe trying to pick sides. But okay, here's the problem with this. You have Alicia Fox versus Naomi. Okay, well, this makes sense. This is a follow-up from Monday Night Raw, where they had a tag team match. Anyway, they had a tag team match. So there's that makes a difference. There was a huge follow-up to it. And I do like Alicia Fox. I like Naomi. But here's the problem with this. It's heel versus heel. And remember, the Bellas, they were heels, then they turned face, and then they turned heel again, because fuck it, why not? And now, but when they worked this match against Naomi, who's with Tamina Snuka, who solidly made a heel turn when they destroyed Paige in the UK, and they turned their back on Paige, trying to lead a rebellion against the Bellas, and Alicia Fox turned 30, if you will, joined up with the Bellas. You basically had Alicia Fox and the Bellas working as the faces, and you had Naomi and Tamina working as the heels. And it's just so inconsistent. This is why you don't book heel on heel, because you want to have, you got to have somebody in a match. At least the object is to have at least one of the parties get cheered by the fans. And because, okay, and another problem with booking heel on heel is, well, if somebody gets cheered, I mean, it kind of ruins your own kayfabe world. I mean, I'm not talking like a cool heel like, oh God, who was it? Like, Cesaro and Kid when they first came out as a tag team. Yeah, it was cool because they were great, great tag team. But this is the complete total opposite. This is, the complete total opposite of good booking. And if you want the Bellas and Alicia Fox to get booed, you got to have them do heel tactics. They could have put them up against Emma. They could have put them up against, not Lana, Layla. They could have put them up against Layla. I mean, they could have done any of that, and it still would have worked. But, I mean, this was just a horrible match. It was really incredibly short. This quickly, it's a brawl that went to the outside. Tamina beat the crap out of the twins. I mean, hit them both in the face with virtually super kicks. But eventually this led to a distraction, as Naomi came back in, Fox caught her with that leg kick that she does, and planted her face first into the mat and got the win. So that was just absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Next, we had the aforementioned Kane versus Ryback match. And it really didn't. Okay, here's another reason why it didn't work. Here's why this match didn't work. This is another one. Ryback's coming out, and he gets ambushed by the Big Show, and Big Show is just beating the crap out of him. I mean, just throwing him into the rail. I mean, beating him down, kicking him in the face. I mean, just picking him apart. And the referee stood there for like 47 fucking minutes in the ring. Hey, you shouldn't do that. You're not supposed to be here. There's a match supposed to be going on. I mean, normal cases like this, a whole group of referees would come out and be like, no, you got to go. You got to get to the back. Get to the back now, you know. But no, they just stood there and let them be. That's just something that bothers me in the kayfabe universe. It's like you got to be consistent. Like if a wrestler jumps another wrestler that's not involved in the match before another wrestler's match, you know, you're going to bring out security, bring out the referees, try to separate them, or maybe throw out the match. No, but they let this go, and they just let it keep going until eventually the referee did convince Big Show to stop his attack. Now, the only thing that made this make sense was Kane told the referee to ring the bell, because normally the referee would throw the match out, but with Kane being part of the authority and the director of operations, he had he did have the authority, pun intended, to start a match. And I was like, okay, there we go. This is going to end this. This is going to protect Ryback because he's the Intercontinental Champion. But no, he kicked out. He started battling back. He hit a spine buster. He got back to his feet, hit Kane with a meat hook clothesline. Then Big Show goes in for another distraction, goes in, and anyway, Kane, take two. Ryback was putting Kane up for the shell shot. Show ran in and kicked Ryback in the chest. This caused a disqualification. I just think this was a train wreck because you had the out for Ryback to lose. Because, again, he's taking on the authority. Big Show's already jumped him. But, okay, you don't want him to lose because he's the Intercontinental Champion. But you make Kane look weak by, here's a guy who just took a severe beating by a giant and still can kick out of your crap and still come back, and then you have to come in and interfere. I mean, it was just all over the place. This was absolutely horrible. Next, we had you know what, I don't know if a lot of people will shit on this match or not, but I liked it. It was the New Day teaming up with Bo Dallas, which I think is just fucking gold. I mean, they have similar gimmicks, similar personalities, and I was like, why haven't you put these guys together before? I mean, this is amazing. Taking on the Primetime Players and the Lucha Dragons. And hey, I enjoyed it. I really did. You know, you got a Bo Lee, the power positivity versus, you know, a hoorah, 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 and lucha, lucha, lucha. Yeah, it was pretty much just your average tag match. It's again to hype up the rematch at Battleground. Primetime Players put the titles on the line against 2 of the 3 members of the New Day. The highlights, let's see, there was I liked it when they backed one of the guys in the corners and all the bad guys were tagging in and stomping them, and they kept circulating around. That's something the Ascension used to do back in NXT. I'm glad to see somebody still doing it, and I love that. Callisto, he got the win with them doing a splash on Woods. It was, you know, it was an average tag match, and believe it or not, we're about halfway done with the show, and this is the first match that has not had any kind of shenanigans. Everything else has had some kind of interference. You had Rusev coming out against during the Dolph Ziggler match. You had interference from the Bella Twins and Tamina Snuka, all that stuff going on the outside during the Divas match. In the Ryback Kane match, you had Big Show. So here we go. We get about halfway through this show, and this is the first match to not have any shenanigans in it whatsoever. And I really think that's just sad. Let's see. Next, there was the Roman Reigns. He goes looking for Bray Wyatt because he put something in his jacket. It says anyone but you. I guess talking about the fans. Maybe the fans' criticism of him. The next we have Ambrose versus Seth Rollins, part 705. Started off pretty slow here. It was arm and leg submissions to begin. Dean Ambrose went for the arm submission on Rollins. Rollins returned the favor with some leg submissions on Ambrose. The pace actually started to pick up. Ambrose was starting to get on top. The Authority comes in and interferes like you think they would. Sorry, my cats are misbehaving. Dean Ambrose dives to the outside of the Authority. They come back in. Joey Nookie provides the distraction. This allows Seth Rollins to hit the pedigree and get the win. So out of the 6 matches, 5 of them had some kind of outside interference, some kind of shenanigans, which I think is way too much. I think I will say that the Dean Ambrose Seth Rollins match was the best of the evening. But that's not saying much considering, I mean, we've seen this feud like 1,000 times before. This was like, what, part 705. That may not be factually accurate, but it's roundabout that way. If you want to check it out, skip to about 18 minutes into the show. That's when you'll see the first match. Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus is okay. And yes, I'm well aware about Ziggler's contract situation and him maybe possibly going on. If I'm Ziggler, to be honest, unless they come at me with like a whole wheelbarrow full of money, I think I'm gone. I mean, why? I mean, if he busts his ass like that anywhere else, he's champion. I mean, and I'm not saying like he should go to TNA. I would say, Ring of Honor would be more glad to have him. I mean, any place, Mexico would love to have him. Canada would love to have him. I personally would like to, excuse me, I personally would like to see Ziggler go to New Japan. Can you imagine AJ Styles versus Dolph Ziggler? You don't even have to put the IWGP title on the line for that to get me to care about that. Ziggler busting his ass like he does in the U.S. out there in Japan, my God, the guy would be a fucking megastar. Alicia Fox versus Naomi, you can skip it. Kane versus Ryback, you can skip it. The 8-man tag team, New Day and Bo Dallas teaming up to take on Prompters and Lucha Dragons. It's worth it. It's worth checking out. Callisto looked pretty good in there. A lot of bodies flying everywhere. It kind of breaks down. Then there's the furthering of the feud between Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns. Reigns getting thrown out of the building. You can forget about that. The main event is the best match, but it just has like the fuck finish. And it's just all over the place. And I kind of hate that, every time there was some kind of super kick, Jimmy Uso would scream super kick party. I think it was excessive, and I think they're trying to cash in on the Young Bucks. But then again, they can't come up with good original storylines and factions on their own. So yeah, why not steal from New Japan? All right, let's take a look at the comments. Let's see. Yeah, Brandon Maltz, he's doing his references to the ROH Super Kick Party. Yeah, I caught all those too. And hey, I did notice this. Jimmy Uso brought it up about a couple of times, 2, maybe 3 times in the first hour, but by the time the second hour rolled around, he stopped mentioning that. I don't know. I don't think there was any more super kicks. I mean, that's more than likely the reason, but I'm interested to see if WWE got in his ear and said, dude, stop fucking doing that shit, man. We can't, stop giving the attention to the Young Bucks. That's about all there is to it. Sorry, I wish I could give you a little bit more in depth, but it was just such a fucking lackluster product. I think it was an absolute disaster. If you haven't seen this show, don't waste your time with it. You can check out all kinds of things. Now we got a lot more stuff to review. Dave and I have completed. Let's see. Of course, Dave did Monday Night Raw. I have done an NXT review. Dave and I have now got to review Lucha Underground. We've got to review Ring of Honor, so you can find a copy of it. Yes, I'm well aware about TNA. Apparently, hell, I think I made a surprise appearance at the Impact Zone. So me and Dave, we've got to review that. We've got Tough Enough coming up. We don't know if we're going to do that one or not. I don't know. We might do that at the Internet Institute. But we're already, Wednesday nights are killing us along because, that's 4 shows that we have to review. But in the meantime, you can always check us out at KocoSports.com. That's KOCOSports.com. It's your home for all combat sports. That includes boxing, mixed martial arts, pro wrestling, amateur wrestling, sumo wrestling, taekwondo, kickboxing, judo. You can get your nose broke doing it. Well, we got it covered there on the site. Be sure to check out our news and gossip section, updated daily, as well as our very popular video on demand section. It's KocoSports.com. It's where the world goes to kick ass. So if you haven't liked, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, go ahead and do it. We got a lot of more reviews probably going to be coming up in the next, probably within the next few hours. I would say anywhere from the next 2 to 24 hours, we're going to have everything in. So just stand by. We crank out a lot of shows. Get your questions in. If I missed anything, I'll apologize. We'll get to it in a Stump the Idiot. And that's going to do it for me. So thunderstorms here are starting to roll in Richmond, so I'm probably going to need to get offline right now. In the meantime, just jump on KocoSports.com and check us out. So this is Boom Boom, and for my partner Dave Coco, I am over.